It's risky to land on an aircraft carrier. But it's considerably riskier. It's risky to land on an aircraft carrier. But it's more riskier when things don't go as planned. In this instance, a test pilot by the name of Captain George Duncan was flying an F-9 F-5 Panther when the aircraft veered off course and the fighter struck the edge of the flight deck, breaking in half. You could assume that the pilot's troubles were over at that point. It's not what you think, though. The pilot was saved and the fire was swiftly put out because to the rapid action of the flight deck personnel. Captain Duncan was able to resume flying after 6 months, and he ultimately became a lawyer. Pilots now apply full throttle at touchdown while landing on aircraft carriers in accordance with conventional operating procedures. They come to a complete stop if they run into one of the 3 or 4 arresting wires, but if not, the full throttle gives them enough power to proceed down the sloped flight deck and regain flight. Bolter is the term for this. The bolter aircraft will attempt to land once more on the next pass. However, this wasn't always practicable in the early days of aircraft carriers because they were built with traditional flat-top designs rather than the more modern inclined flight deck. This meant that there was very little room for error because flights were landing directly in front of the other parked planes. Emergency flight deck barriers were set up at the end of the landing area as a result. After each successful landing, the barriers were lowered to a height of around 3 feet in order to convey the aircraft to the parking area. The deck barriers were crucial in preventing an aircraft from colliding with the flight deck personnel or parked aeroplanes if something went wrong, such a broken tail hook. Usually, after colliding with the barrier wires, aeroplanes suffered severe damage and occasionally they even caught fire. Due to the wires that were flying around the flight deck staff was just as liable to sustain injuries as the pilots. Barrier wires were sometimes insufficient to completely stop an aeroplane, as you can see in this image, so a new solution was required. Fear not, a helicopter successfully saved the pilot of this aircraft. Barrier wires are no longer in use since barricade netting, which resembles a tennis net, has taken their place. The contemporary barrier emergency recovery system is made up of numerous engagement straps that reach a height of about 20 feet. The release straps snap as the aircraft enters the barricade, and the engagement straps catch the aircraft, transferring the load to the barrier engine below the deck through a purchase cable. In normal circumstances, the barricade is stowed away and is only rigged in an emergency situation, such as a tail hook or landing gear breakdown. A skilled team can erect a barricade in less than 3 minutes. The deck cables and the webbing are discarded following a successful arrest. Although barrier arrests are uncommon, they do occasionally happen, which is why all American aircraft carriers are outfitted with them. Even while such landings are difficult for the pilots and frequently result in significant damage to the aircraft, they are still far preferable to the alternative. Barricades are a crucial component of the carrier's toolkit because they have saved many lives throughout the years. Even if you hope to never use it, you will be happy to have it if the need arises.